If $20,000 worth of grant funds would help you buy a house, this video is going to show you what that grant is and what Utah legislation is changing in the near future. If you're interested in the Utah real estate market and you'd like to get more information about the home buying process here, whether you just moved to Utah or you're considering relocating to Salt Lake City, my team and I would love to help you. We service the entire Salt Lake City area and the surrounding suburbs. Our contact information is in the description below. Reach out to us, phone call, text. We can set up a Zoom call. We'd love to see how we can help meet your goals. So right now I have this article pulled up from KSL News. The title is Utah Lawmakers' Eye Changes to First-Time Homebuyer Program. Now, if you're familiar with the first-time homebuyer grant, it's through Utah Housing. It's up to $20,000 that could be used towards purchasing a house. So this could be down payment funds, this could be closing costs, this could be buying down your interest rate, which a lot of people are doing right now because of where interest rates are trading. However, there's some caveats. You have to qualify for this grant, and a couple of the key considerations are first-time home buyers, meaning you haven't bought a house in Utah for at least the last, I believe it's 3 years, and it has to be new construction. Not only that, it has to be under a purchase price of $450,000, and that is where things are going to change. I think the Utah lawmakers realize that $450,000 in Utah, depending on where it is, doesn't go very far. And so I think the issue they ran into here is they had a lot of first-time home buyers that wanted to use this grant, but $450,000 just wasn't quite enough for them to actually get into a home. So I'm going to read through this article and show you some of those key highlights and where this law currently stands. So this is the program that gives home buyers up to $20,000 for down payment, closing costs, or buying down their interest rate. We talked about that. The program is currently limited to new housing costs that are $450,000 or less. However, SB 168, which is the designation they're giving this, was a law that was unanimously passed in the State Senate Committee and would allow the state to adjust the maximum purchase price based on the type of housing and location. That part is really key, and here's why. Here's a quote. "We recognize that just one price limit of $450,000 doesn't work in all cities and all counties." That was David Demption, I'm probably jacking up his last name. He's actually the president and CEO of the Utah Housing Corporation, which administers this loan, along with other loan and grant programs for buyers in Utah. So it goes on. Utah's current statewide median home price for all housing types, so all housing meaning single family, townhome, condo, twin homes, etc., the average is $485,000. So this grant offered with a max purchase price of $450,000 is below what even the median price point is in Utah. The first-time home buyer program also currently requires buyers to immediately pay back any assistance if they refinance early. So that $20,000 that Utah is giving you to buy a house, if rates come down in the next year or two and you decide you want to refinance to capitalize on that lower rate and therefore a lower monthly payment, as it stands right now, you would have to pay back that full $20,000 to the state. The first-time homebuyer program requires immediate payback, but SB 168 would change that for future buyers if they use a lender participating with the state. So we're not quite sure yet what that's going to look like, which lenders would qualify, which ones wouldn't, or what that process would look like. But as it says right here, we're not penalizing as rates are coming down. In other words, if they're going to help a first-time home buyer get into a house, they don't want to then turn around and penalize them to pay back that $20,000 if they wanted to take advantage of a refinance. The first-time homebuyer program has served more than 600 families so far. Their homes on average cost $381,000. Much of the home buying activity has occurred in Saratoga Springs, Spanish Fork, Magna, Eagle Mountain, and Riverton. And now you might be asking, okay, why those areas? And what makes it about those areas why someone would use the grant to buy there? So let me show you on the map why that is. First, I'm going to go to Google Maps here. So you have this is all Salt Lake County, is the entire valley. So you have the mountains here to the west, you have the Wasatch Mountains to the east. And you'll notice a lot of those areas are either just on the cusp of Salt Lake County or they're actually in Utah County. Here's the reason why. Salt Lake Valley has been really built out since the 70s and 80s. There isn't a ton of land left, which is one of the reasons why you're seeing home prices go up. It's just a lack of inventory. Where builders have found more land is in this area here in the southwest portion of the valley, places like Harriman, Riverton, Bluffdale, and the northern half of Utah County. So we're talking areas like Lehigh, Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain. Those are the areas where new construction exists. And because they exist there in that lower price range, that's where home buyers are purchasing with the first-time home buyer grant. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by pulling up the MLS. So these are all actively listed homes right now on the market that are in that price range as new construction. So if you zoom out, you can really see what I'm talking about here. A lot of those are going to be in northern Utah County, so Lehigh, Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, or they're going to be in the southwest portion of the valley, Harriman, Riverton, etc. You'll notice there's very, very few new construction under 450 because guess what? Salt Lake County is relatively expensive, nor are there very many new construction homes. But it's good that they finally realized that, hey, we're helping home buyers get into a new property. However, it really needs to vary by location because a place like Salt Lake County is going to be more expensive on average than a place like Utah County, Davis County, Weaver County. And so it's good that they're recognizing home buyers want to participate in this program. There just needs to be a little more flexibility with the laws. So it's already passed the Utah State Senate. It's going to be very interesting to see how quickly and if there's any pushback on getting this approved through the rest of the legislative process. When you're looking at places to potentially buy in that lower price range, a lot of those new builders are offering incentives, right? Not only is the state trying to help first-time home buyers get into a property, but builders are also giving incentives to try to help buyers get into a property. And that usually comes to the form of seller concessions, right? So they may offer 2 or 3% of the purchase price that are, again, similar to those grant funds. They can go towards down payment or buying down the interest rate. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future as interest rates continue to trend down. Will that affect prices? And now these prices go up. How will that affect people trying to use this grant program? But you'll just notice that a lot of these builders, and they tend to be the bigger builders in Utah, so Edge Homes, D.R. Horton, those types of builders that have a ton of inventory coming up in this lower price range that qualifies for this loan. So as you can see, there are some grants available to buy a house, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. There's other grants that we haven't even mentioned yet, like the American Dream Grant, to help people get into a property. Yes, home prices in Utah and Salt Lake City are above the national average. However, there are ways that you can strategize an offer, whether it's asking for seller concessions or trying to negotiate a lower purchase price to try to make the monthly payment more affordable. And these grants that Utah offers is one of those avenues. If you want more information about this, please reach out. Our contact information is in the description below. You can call, text, email, set up a Zoom call. Would love to help you out and help educate you on more programs like this.